And I will also, I will also try to put it like, Anand is here. Awesome. So I'll add Anand there. Right. Oh, Anand is in the car or somewhere. Thanks, Anand. Thanks for joining. Right. Over to both of you. Yeah. You can little share, however, wherever you want to start. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ratnesh. And it's a pleasure to join you all this evening and share our story. I'm Lakshmi, mother of two boys, and Anand is there on the screen. So we have two boys aged 19 and 8. Younger one thinks he's already 10, but he's 9. He's 8. So he confuses me with his age. So there's an age gap of 11 in between, and I'll start with the story of Hari Teja, who is part of Aarohi's coversity uh, group. Um, Hari, to start with, we didn't want, I particularly didn't want Hari to go through the mainstream schooling that is available in, if you're from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, you'd understand how much of importance uh, mainstream education gets here. Alternative education is not even considered as an education in Telugu states. And you have Sri Chaitanya. This is a home for Sri Chaitanya and Narayana kind of schools where it is important that rote learning is the only way to learn. So I was skeptical about that method of learning, though it was accepted everywhere, and you've seen results. You have your cousins' children who got good grades and who are placed in good institutions and are living a good life. The good life that the society defines. So it's all there. It's tested. It's there. But the quality of it. When I see the child, I feel there's something missing in them. The spirit of learning, the joy of learning, that's not there. It's just that they are doing what is structured by the the commonly agreed definitions of the society that gave them, the family that given them, family inspired by society. So I was worried about that, and I chose alternative education for Teja to start with. But you know what? Alternative education too, I think it's got the influence of mainstream education rubbed on alternative education. The minute education is institutionalized, it becomes mainstream. It again comes back to the going back to the text, reading what the teacher says, and sitting in a group. Whether you're comfortable or not comfortable, you have to continue the education the way it is. It is structured for you. Everything is structured for you. And again, I was not comfortable with that, and neither was Hari. I realized that over a period of time, and yet we were struggling to fit into that mold. Because there's no choice for us here in Hyderabad. So I was struggling to fit into that mold. Homeschooling was not an option back because both of us are working, and we explored many other things like dance, music that's outside the school. But again, it was like picking off the things in the checklist. It was not as per the child. It was what we intend him to do. So there was a lot of confusion, there's a lot of friction at home, and we realized that Hari was not able to learn in a group setting. He was more of an individual learner. And we thought that is not natural. You have to learn in a group setting. Eventually, even if you learn at lower classes, even if you are an individual learner, but when you go to college or higher institutes of learning, you have to sit in a classroom. You cannot explore. I'm talking about 2000s, late 2000s, when internet was not a rage, and this was our understanding. Eventually, you have to go to college where you have to sit in a group of 50 and learn from one professor. So I thought I should insist. We insisted that he go to school, that he went to school and he learned in that environment. But over a period of time, it has come to a point where he was not learning at all. He was not learning at all. He simply had given up on learning. So much so that he despised learning. Uh, not it at to parents, it was alarming. It was alarming, and we went through a lot of stressful period in between because I couldn't get him back to books because of the pressure that I put him to get to learning. That didn't work. Then we tried open schooling. It's NIOS, open schooling. So we pulled him out of the school and hired a tutor, and there are a couple of support systems here in Hyderabad to help the child with open learning. And everyone, whoever I would talk to my child about, they would say, "Oh, we are so sorry. I think there is something wrong with his learning. Did you get him tested for dyslexia? Did you get him tested for so many other things, on the learning spectrum?" But I said, that also caused a lot of worry and stress for us. You can imagine the harrowing times that I went through. So we took him to a psychologist who evaluated him. And she said, this child is perfectly normal. Normal in the sense he's capable of learning. So again, when we define normal, it becomes a standard definition. There is nothing like normal, which I would like to tell to all parents here, especially the younger ones. Don't look for the normalcy. Each child has its has his or her own pace of growth, which may or not match with the general milestones that are there. So I was worried, and the psychologist assured me that he is perfectly capable of learning and sent him back to school. But which school do I send him back to? He already hates to learn. For him, books are a source of stress. Sitting at one place and learning is a source of stress. I thought my child would be incapable to do anything. And that's how it went. She told me, why don't you try theater? And while this was going on, this was in the late 2019, and then pandemic happened. Everything shut down. We didn't know what to do. So again, those 2 years, we did research. So Anand suggested that we'll completely do away with any formal learning. Let's not talk about maths. Let's not talk about science. Let's not talk about anything that is related to learning. Let's do art. So we did a lot of art during those 2 years of pandemic. We did a lot of dance, and I didn't know that my son, Hari is capable of making impressions of people. I didn't know that he had in him to do wonderful dance moves. So these are the things I discovered. I discovered the other side of my child in those 2 years. As the pandemic was waning, I spoke to another family friend of mine. So she's in the area of counseling. So I asked her, what do I do with this child? He doesn't want to get into math, science, or not even commerce, or even literature. If I want him, he doesn't want to go to college. What do I do? She said, what are his strengths? I said, he can't do math properly. He can't speak the language the way I speak because again, it requires learning and he doesn't want to learn. He doesn't want me to help him. But what are the other things? Those are not strengths. Those are functional skills to live in a world. But what are his core strengths? What are his natural strengths? I had no answer. Then she told me, go back and again observe your son. See what are his core strengths. That's when I actually observed my son with taking the lens of judgment, because all through these years I was judging him. I was judging him with the lens that the society gave me. So this is how he should be. This is how he should have been at this age. This is how he should have been at this age. And these are the things he should have learned. But what are his natural strengths? I didn't know that. When I started observing him without the lens of judgment, I realized that my child is actually a very kind soul, very kind. In the community that I live here, everyone knows him. No one knows me. They know me as mother of Hari. They don't know Hari as my son. Though I'm accomplished, I'm a working professional, and I work for a big company, but blah, blah, blah. No one cares about that. They care me as mother of Hari. I didn't know that. And then he volunteers to all the community services here. That is something that I didn't encourage him to do. He did it naturally. He does that naturally. Helping others comes naturally to him. And he knows how to work with a team. These are all skills that no school taught him. Heaven's sake, he didn't even go to a school. And then the boy is resilient. The biggest strength for him is all through this, he never stopped smiling. He never sulked in the corner. He never shut himself out. He was always positive and resilient and hoping that the world would understand him. More importantly, his parents would understand him. And that's when I realized these are his strengths, and I should find a place where he's going to flourish. And as uh, as they say, things come to you, doors open when the time is right. It was a serendipitous moment when we found about Aarohi, and then I checked with him, and Anand said, I'm going to take him to Aarohi, and Anand and Hari spent a week there, and if both of them fell in love with the place, fell in love with the structure of learning there. Again, structure, I'm not talking about the structure, but structure, the environment, learning environment that's provided over there. And Hari said, that's my happy place, and I am not going to turn back. So when they open the admissions for cohort, Hari is there, and he is right now interning with car maintenance workshop in Hyderabad. That does maintenance work for Tata Motors. Tata Motors. It's an authorized workshop for Tata Motors, and he's working there. And he doesn't have a certificate in maintenance. He doesn't have he has only a 10 certificate, that to an NIOS certificate. But the real learning that he learned is in these 3 months, and his observation, that's how the child is in 3 months in Arohi, and in general, his observation of the world around him picked from people. So when the psychologist back then in 2019, when she told me that he is a self-learner, so you have to give him an environment where he will have the opportunity to learn by himself, explore and learn by himself. I thought that sounds like a it's an ideal place on paper, but I don't think so. We'll ever have a place like that in our vicinity. And then there is Arohi, and as they say, the rest is history. If you
Anand, you want to add something?
Yeah, Anand, I'm waiting for Anand if he wants to add something.
Yeah, I think he's in the car. Yeah.
No. I have nothing to add. Actually, what Lakshmi said is, it's even my this thing, like.
Okay, and coming back to Arohi, Anand talks very little, but he's a very deep thinker, and I'm the most talkative one in the family, so you have to bear with me. So, and coming to Arohi, and what we learned is 3 months with Arohi, we are still new. We are still new, and there's so much for us to learn as parents. What we learned is when you have a nurturing and learning environment, any child can bloom. So I read this somewhere that when a plant is not able to bloom, do not fix the plant, but fix the environment, the soil where it's planted. So this is exactly like that. I'm glad that a place like Arohi exists. And what we learned there that you are responsible. That learning is again a decision. Learning doesn't come. You cannot measure learning. So the standard metrics of that are usually applied does not apply with qualitative learning. Maybe you can quantify to a certain extent, but qualitative learning, or the learning that helps you with your inner working, it is something that you need an environment to nurture it. And then the learning system is structured in such a way in Arohi that a child is held responsible. He is responsible for his own learning. He holds himself accountable for the amount of learning he can do or he cannot do. And he also makes a decision. I'm talking about Tejat, others, Hari. Hari is also aware of how much he can take and how much he cannot take. He's aware of his strengths and he's aware of his shortcomings. I was very surprised when Hari came back from Arohi and said, Amma, I think we both have to sit and work on developing our communication skills. This is a child who shunned away from me because I would be behind him to learn this, you do that, you do this. Now he has come back to me and has asked me, give me a list of things that he needs to learn, and he is working on it. The progress, I do not say is it's not like an overnight success, but it is there. The pace is his own. I am not deciding on how much he is going to learn. He is going to decide on how much he can take, how much he can push himself. He understood that he is responsible for everything that he does. There's no one to blame. There's no one to say that because of you I am like this. No, that doesn't happen. And there is an amount of uncertainty. What will happen next? But that uncertainty is, again, you can negate that by developing strengths within you, which I see that he is working actively on. And that's my learning. And as parents, we have become much more much less judgmental and much more open and welcoming the children as they are, as not as we perceive them, but as they are, as they see themselves, we welcome them. There's a lot of change in us as in our parenting style too. So it's never authoritative. I've been trained in a very conservative, raised in a very conservative and authoritative setup, and this is how it has to be done. No, at our home, instead of instructions and directions, we have conversations, we have negotiations, we have persuasions. These are the skills that we four of us are learning as a family. And that's our journey so far. And you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, Lakshmi. That was amazing. I was like, totally with you, amazing. Okay, so yeah, as Lakshmi says, we are open to questions about, you can directly ask to Lakshmi and Anand, or you can, if you want to little know more about open learning or about Arohi, anything, any combination is fine, any question is fine. These are very informal meetups, and also inviting more people to come on camera now. So we feel like we are in a group, not like we are not presenters. The presentation part is over. And yeah. So would request more people to come, just for us to feel at home that we are with a nice bunch of people. I mean, we are with a nice bunch of people, but just that visual connect, right? So just inviting more people. And yeah, I think some people have started writing some questions in the chat. So, okay, so yeah, I think that question is for you, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Santosh and Neha, my experience with the way I approach my younger one too has changed. He is I no longer care about how much he's going to score in the sheet, and he himself is aware that his mother doesn't worry about that anymore. But what is important is how he is learning and how he is utilizing his learning. So that has brought about a change. Educating homeschooling is not yet an option for us, or neither is open schooling. Maybe after, when he reaches the age of 14, he will definitely follow his elder brother's path.
Yeah, so more people can come on mic. You can directly ask questions to any one of us, or not just questions. You can share your own journey. You can share any thoughts, anything. I know it takes little time to soak in what Lakshmi has shared. She's shared a very powerful journey. Lakshmi, it's not easy for people to suddenly come up with questions when we are with you in your journey. So yeah, I'm giving people time as they think of their thoughts or want to share what they want to have a discussion on. Yeah, so take your time, but yeah, you can
Hello, good evening.
yeah,
My
Leena, go
son
ahead.
is in, yeah, he is in now, we are doing homeschooling for him from last since 3 years. Now, now his option is he's doing drama. He's on stage, he's performing as we are doing homeschooling. Now his option is he wants to do automobile engineering. He wants to do automobile engineering. He's interested, more keen about it. So it is without going to college or without pursuing the engineering field. Can he do this? Can excel in this part?
Oh, Lakshmi, you're the best person to answer with Hari being in automobiles
Yeah.
only. Go ahead.
Lena, if there is one suggestion that I can give you is remove the word excel in it, because each child excels at their own time. So we cannot
Yeah.
define how he's excelling and whether he's excelling or not. We may not see whether he's doing well, but it's like that bamboo tree analogy where the roots grow deeper. At the top, you might not see anything. So let's keep Excel aside. And with automobile engineering, my son Hari is right now he's interning with Tata Motors authorized workshop, and he doesn't have a degree as I said, but he's interested and he taught himself how to dissect a bike, and he taught himself what are the things that he needs to learn. And these are the things that I didn't encourage him. I don't take any credit for any of the things that he do. It's all his own. And he found workshops, and then he would go there and learn from those buyers. So eventually, he has set a path of learning. Maybe your son too, if he explores and keeps learning on his own, he can do. Maybe so he can start his polytechnic education if he's interested to go back to college, or the certifications. Now the world has become with open learning courses available on internet. I don't think so there is any shortage of knowledge available. It's again how we direct our interests and how we find out the way which which a child can learn. So Teja is not comfortable learning in a college, but he is learning in a workshop, and he is more of an experiential learner. I discovered. So he's a hands-on learner. So see what suits for your son.
Okay, thank you so much.
Lina, if I take your thought little forward, if I just put on a blank sheet the word automobiles at the center and then start drawing a map of what all I see around this world, people doing with automobiles. Yeah, right from racing to doing review YouTubers on automobile to all kinds of things, or to the little parts that Hari is interested in for
Yeah.
automobiles, to automobile photography, which also Hari is little interested in photography also. So if you start mapping, that sheet would easily be filled with 30, 40, 50 options.
Okay.
See, the problem, I will tell you what the problem is. The problem is the word engineering. When we put the word
Yeah.
automobile engineering, we think that has to be done a BE or a BTech only, because now it's engineering. Please remove the
Yeah.
word engineering. Say my son is interested in automobiles. Now the world is so large in terms of automobile. There's so many things somebody can do, and which will he do, or which will he like to do, or whether even like after 5 years he may even move away from automobiles. Who knows? Yeah. But the important thing is
Yeah.
not about what will be the future. It's about, can he do things today which he likes doing, so that develops him. Whether he follows automobile field or any other field, how does that matter? If he develops himself, continuously develops himself, that's the whole idea. And where will he put his most energy? With whichever field he is interested in, as in Hari's case is automobiles, and seems to be in your son's case also automobiles.
Yeah.
Just a pleasant
Thank
coincidence.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your guidance. Thank
So what I tell people is that don't get stuck with the fields or the child's interest. That is for the child to worry about. Let us not get excited about his or her field. Let us get excited about the child. We are the parents. Our job is not to choose the field. His job is, or her job is, to choose the field, which could be same today, which could be very different after 5 years or 10 years. So many of us, even as adults, have changed so many fields, including me. Right. So I'm saying, let's not worry about the field. Let's worry about, not worry, let's focus on the child, not on the field. Like, he will figure out, he or she. Yeah. Lakshmi, want to add something?
Oh, you You said it very right. The mapping part, that's very important as parents, that we should remember that if you restrict it to a definition, if you limit it to a definition, the world becomes smaller. I went through this stressful time where I defined it with math, science, and so I said at least social science. As if social science is a subject that it is, nobody realized that how important in the world where we are living. Social sciences also means learning about society is, again, it's very important. So let's do away with definitions and let's embrace learning. Just make it an open platform for us to learn and learn along with the child.
Right. As I said, today's theme, we somehow kept this whole thing about future, and whether you are excited about future or scared about future or ambivalent about future, let's have some discussion. Let's see what are your thoughts about future. How do you see future with respect to your children, not your future, with respect to your children? That's what I would be interested to interact with, and we can keep taking learnings or insights from Lakshmi and Anand. So people can share, you can share your views as well as your story. Obviously, you can ask questions.
So there's this book that I read. I'm reading right now. It's Paul Miller's, called Partless Path. So the writer was an overachiever. He achieved so much that at a very young age, he got all that he wanted in life, and then realized that there's no point at all. What's the point of all this effort? And then he embarks on a new journey where he gives up everything, moves to a new country, and starts a new life, and starts learning a new language and exploring the things. And he realizes that he likes to write. All these years, he was struggling to work, because those were the jobs. You have to do your engineering, then you have to do your MBA, then you have to work with a consultancy firm, that's the biggest consultancy firm in the world, then you have to earn so much of money, buy a house, and all these were there, all the things where he just checked them on the list, whatever that were prescribed by the society. And then he realized, but still he was not happy with himself, and then he moved to a new country and started exploring. And then he says that there is so much of uncertainty when you walk on this path. The outcomes are not something that we are known. We are trained to expect outcomes. So this is the outcome, and therefore I'm going to walk on this path. Sometimes, but most of the times in life, outcomes are very different. If we introspect our own lives, our outcomes are very different. I wish I had something like Aarohi when I was learning, because I studied commerce in college. I was told I was good with arts, but they said what will you earn doing a BA in sociology was my interest back then. What will you do learn doing a BA in sociology? You should get to commerce, at least you will become a chartered accountant. And those 3 years were the years, just whiled away. I didn't learn much. And now I'm working in a diplomatic mission. I'm working as an admin assistant, which has got nothing to do with the commerce or my 3 years of education and learning that I did. So it was those years, the precious years of the younger mind, the fertile mind. My mind was a lot more fertile then. Had I had this learning opportunity, you never know where I would have been. But I missed that. And then, meandered through life, different challenges that life threw up, some of which I was prepared to take, some of which I was not. But, I learned it in a hard way. But here, in an open learning community, what you do is it's not that someone is going to come and spoon feed you. It's not someone is going to decide the timetable for you. Everything is your responsibility. When you take responsibility on yourself at a young age, And when you learn, when you nurture the desire to explore things, when you do not want to be defined by certain definitions or not even by your passions, and when you want to explore and dive deep into it, that is also, that explains you, that helps you grow into a much mature and responsible adult. Well, that's my experience with, when I compare my son's journey and my own journey, I feel like, oh my God, at his age, I miss learning all of this.
Yes, yes. I'm inviting more people to share your excitements and concerns, your story.
Okay, Majas. So can you explain more about Arohi? What function it is doing? What type of learning or what is the? I don't know. I just first time I have heard this.
Yeah, I think you missed the little introduction that I gave in the beginning of this meetup. Did you miss that? So, okay, Arohi, just in one line, I would say Arohi is a community of families, and all of us together are doing what we like doing, including a 5-year-old, 1-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old, and me, 55-year-old. All of us are just doing what we like doing on a daily basis, because that's the only day we live. So let's do what we like doing, where our energies are, where our joys are, where our enthusiasm and excitement is. So somebody like Hari would explore bikes and cars, and somebody like me will do, let's say, gardening, for example, or will do adventure, and so on. Somebody is interested in embroidery, will do embroidery. Somebody is interested in making a machine, like one of the child is right now making a kind of a robot which does mopping, and there is another child who is into making scores of paintings so that she can put up her exhibition. One youth is working with mud architecture, and she's making mud domes, dome structures using mud. There is another one who's doing and designing. So each individual will decide what I want to do. As I was telling, younger children tend to do many things. As they grow older and they come into the age group of, let's say, teenagers, and they start thinking about few things where they want to go much deeper into. And that's where the aarohicoversity comes in, where they actually do industrial client work and they get paid. They're already getting paid. So forget worrying about future. They are already earning. So that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's briefly what I've told you, but it's just a space where we all come together, whether virtually. We also do, we are an online community in the sense we come together virtually, as well as we have a campus where we are physically together, and we all do things that we like doing, irrespective of the age. I hope that describes open learning, and
Yeah, thanks.
they are the same thing. Yeah.
Thanks.
So some of you would have joined thinking, oh, I want to know about homeschooling and unschooling, but you've been hearing the term open learning. The reason we use that term rather than homeschooling, unschooling is, first of all, we don't want to refer to schooling because that's another way of living life. And the second thing is, it's not limited to school age. It is throughout our life. And the third thing is, it by default includes homeschooling, unschooling, and any other kind of learning that you want to do. So open learning is not limited to one kind of learning. It just says, go ahead, do what you want to do, learn from whomever you want to learn when you want to learn, however you want to learn, and so on, right? It's not limited to a particular, at this age, you need to learn this, not at all. So that's the whole idea. So feel free to ask questions about you, your child, open learning, homeschooling, unschooling, whatever, Aarohi. It is a very open and informal meetup. You will have to ask questions.
Hi, I have a question. It's not really it's not exactly on the topic about future and all,
Sure, sure.
but so my question is, sorry. Okay, yeah, my question is, if both parents are working, how are you people managing it? Like, my son is 20 months old, and we both are working, and we cannot, and we send him to a daycare so that someone can take care of him. But are there any people in those situations, and how are you guys managing it?
So first of all, when you say how are you managing it, there is no one answer. I'm sure each family would, let's say, live their life or make their arrangements in their own way, and these arrangements or these management will also keep changing, both based on child's needs, your needs, and so on. So there's no one answer to that question. But let's step back and say, when two, three things. First of all, we have to decide as a family what is our priority, right? If work is a priority, how much of work is a priority? If child is a priority, how much of child is a priority, and so on. And hence see how we can do various permutation combination to take care of different needs. What is the child's need? What is my professional need? What is my spouse's professional needs? What could be my parents' need, the grandparents of the child? So there's so many people in our family, right? And everybody will have different needs, and we all kind of work as a team, I would say, right? There's no one answer to it. Again, the answer will keep changing. Like how you said that you found a place where your child can be, he or she can be for a certain time. That's good enough. That's just, there's nothing wrong or right about it. That's just a arrangement that helps you and maybe helps the child also. So the idea is not to look for a perfect answer or a way of managing it, but to first think about, hey, what's our priority? How do we want to live? Because living and learning is same. And how do we want to enjoy that? Doing what all? And I think that's the answer. It's not about who is working, who is not working. I often say everybody is working, including a 1-year-old is working. He or she is not a non-working person. All the awake hours, he or she is doing something. So let's not, yes, some of us have to go out, as in into an office, and that requires a certain hours. That's okay. That's just a constraint, that's all. And as a family, if you really want to make as a family, if you want to work it in a certain way, I'm sure we'll figure out, and that is how it is. So in that is why open learning is very family driven, and each family will have their own flavor, own journey, which will also keep changing as the time and the needs and the wants keep changing and evolving. So I'm not trying to answer your question, but I'm trying to give a perspective of how we look at it, and which is why it's great to meet different families, to ask them how they are doing it. So if there are families who would like to share their journey here, that's why I wanted to give that perspective. Whether you are working from home, whether you're working from office, whether you are both working, one working in office, one working at home, however it is. So different people can share, and I think that would help you to understand. And please keep asking this to the world, right? This question, because everybody is somehow managing and we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, if someone can answer how they are doing it, yeah, they can share their experiences. Yeah, that would also be great.
Hello, hi. There is this constant fear in our mind as parents, like we are going to pursue, as my son is in 8th standard right now. So next 9th standard onwards, he would be in NIOS and so on till 12th standard. Uh, uh, when I think that I am quite convinced about idea of open learning, my husband feels a bit, as in we are on in the same line on the page, but keeping our child as priority. But then he says that graduation is the most important thing for a person, to live his life comfortably and not get bothered or bombarded by the question asked by so-called Samaj. जो हम कहते हैं कि what will the society say about it. And I think there is a communication gap between me and my husband because of language. I'm not able to explain him. There are so many things that I've just put it in front of you. So there is this fear of what will happen next, as in NIOS will complete NIOS, and that my son is quite interested in cars. And like Hari, he also wants to, learn a lot of things about automobiles. He keeps racing. I mean, whenever he's free, he'll be playing with his toys. Till now, he likes Hot Wheels, and he'll be exploring many remote control cars and many, many toys, as in related to cars, and not bikes, but cars. And he'll be keeping talking about it. But I'm not sure where is this going to lead to. So actually there is no question, but there is a fear that we are facing.
So what is the fear? Sorry, I didn't hear any fear in that.
The fear is that my husband's fear is that if we take a different turn, if we don't go as the system is, if we don't do the normal schooling or we don't do the graduation, what will the society tell? How will we answer the constant questioning of the society? It is not that we care about the society much, but yes, if we are not able to answer them, or maybe this I forget the sir's name. I think we had there was a talk with a teacher
Are you talking
from
about
abroad.
Peter Gray?
Yes, Peter Gray. He said that the fear that he was talking about, the fear of failure. What if the child goes into some other direction and doesn't follow what he himself is also interested in? The fear of parents of going wrong in taking the decision of open learning, or not following what the others are also doing. So, Lakshmi, did you face any such bombardment of questions of society?
As I said in my story, it was not one bombardment. I was bombed literally by so many people from family, from friends, even colleagues at work. They would discuss about their children getting into SMR or Vignan or CBIT. These are all big institutes in Andhra and Telangana. So they would talk about their children getting into engineering. And here I would say that he doesn't even want to go to school. What do I do with this child of mine? I would come home and cry my heart out. It was also the most stressful. It was like our house was like a war zone. We wouldn't talk. Everything would be contained within ourselves, because if we talk, it would just go ballistic. I'm saying that we would just bombard things, and the boy would storm out of the house. This this boy is actually gentle by nature. This boy would get so angry that he would storm out of this house. Like my colleagues' children, they're doing this, they're doing these courses, they're here and they're there, and what are you going to do with life? So these questions and these doubts, they will be there, and they're quite natural because we live in society. We are not living outside society. So we will be influenced and we will be impacted by it. But what's important in my journey, I'm speaking from my experiences, what does a child want to do? The certification is not for you. It's not for your husband. It is for the child. What does he want to do? The learning is for the child. How does he want to learn? What is his way of learning? What is he comfortable with learning? So I think you have to understand from the child's perspective rather than society. I don't know. So because the society doesn't take, if you give, it's again, society is again, it's in our mind. Even if they ask questions tomorrow, they're not going to come and help your child with anything. They're not going to help you with anything. These are all things that are commonly agreed upon, that for our convenience we've decided that these are the milestones that an average journey would pursue, but not everyone has to take those roads. Not everyone has to take those paths, or walk in the same way that the society does. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it doesn't affect. See, understand from your child's perspective, but not from the society's perspective, because that way you'll be harming your child more than helping him. So if you can take that away and see what he needs, you and your husband, you and your child will get an understanding of what you want as a family and what he is born to do as an individual. Ratnesh can make it, refine it more and add his 2 cents to it.
No. I think your response is like perfect. I don't want to mess it up, but I can invite more people. Prashant is there today. Prashant, would you like to share if you are able to come on mic? That would be nice. Pranav, no,
Yeah.
Pranav had to drop out.
Pranav
Yeah,
is not
Prashant.
there. I was also looking at it. I think eventually we'll get used to fear. I was scared of crossing the street, and then that fear, I got used to it, and now I cross the street. I was scared of marriage. Now I'm married for 14 years. And I think I've gotten used to the fear of wife. I'm not sure if it's gone, but yeah, we learn to live with the devil. I don't know. My son is 13 now, and Log Kya Kahenge is definitely on top of my mind. I think I'll get used to it. When I look at Drupad and I look at Sriya and Srijani, and yesterday we had one of the ex-Aarohi open learners, Sumed. He had come. He wanted to be a chef, and he's already a chef. So when I look at all of these children, I want to keep trusting that these kids know what they're doing, and uh, system of education and living has to evolve. And during evolution, there's some heat, and if we have to cook, and we have to stand the heat in the kitchen. That's what it is.
Yeah, and if you allow me to little add that kind of extension of what Prashant is saying. So in my about 22 years with children, I would have interacted with about 16,000 children till now. And I'm yet to find a single child who I think is not capable of or incapable of doing what he wants to do, what he or she wants to do in his or her life, right? I think they are all capable. Every single child just reinforces my belief in them. They reinforce. I don't have to reinforce them. When I see their abilities, when I see their energies, when I see their gumption, when I see their resilience, when I see anything, it's amazing. When you see a 1-year-old, how I know Santosh and Neha here, whom I know has 1 year. Somebody else shared 10 months child. So when you have that age children, you look at them, the amount of energy they have to live. Let's forget anything else and to learn, which is living and learning the same for them. Then you're amazed. And if you just hold that, in front of you, then you know that, okay, yes, this is what they are designed for. They're not designed necessarily to necessarily get a degree. I'm nothing against degree, please. Whoever needs a degree for whatever purpose should get it or will get it. That's not a point. There are enough routes of NIOS, this, that. But think about it. Everybody doesn't need an NIOS. Everybody doesn't need a 10th and a 12th. whoever needs it, let's say if you want to become a doctor, you need to have a 10, 12. If one of Aarohi's child wanted to become a pilot, he needed a pilot. He needed a 10 and 12 to become a pilot. That's another story, that he finally gave up becoming a pilot. And you know how he gave up becoming a pilot? He was there in one of the Saturday meetup. You should hear that recording. He says that I gave up becoming a pilot, not because of anything else, but I talked to so many pilots and I realized that the pilot life is not what I had fantasized. And it's on the ground very, very, or rather in the air, very, very different from what I thought. I only thought of it as posh, handsome life. But he realized, no. And then he has evolved. He's just 20, 21, and now he's into business and stuff like that. But see the beauty of it. He himself understood the world whom we are scared of. He or she will learn how to answer this world, if at all an answer needs to be given. In most cases, it doesn't need to be given. Right. I often say to parents, I know it's easy to say, but I often say this to parents, see what gift you want to give your child. Do you want to give a gift of fear? Then if you are fearing every day, that's what you are giving. If you want to give him a gift of belief in him, then do that. Do that on a daily basis. Gifts are not given on birthdays. Gifts are given how we live life. Life is the biggest gift. And if we can give that gift to them, then the rest they will figure out. I think that's where they're. Sorry, so I made a long answer to that. But yeah, just whatever Prashant shared, I got on the same. Right. Yeah, but more thoughts from people. What are your thinkings? What are your concerns? What are your worries? Yeah. So forget graduation. You can question anything. You can question not just 10, 12, not just books, not just reading, writing. You can question anything in this world and come up with your way of living. When parents say, my child doesn't write, I said, in today's world, everybody watches YouTubes and reels and shorts. Who wants to write? We all want to talk and watch. So the world is all the time changing. Yeah, I think I would rather adapt to that rather than stay stuck with something that was maybe created some time back and maybe relevant for some, but not necessarily everybody. Yeah, I would love to hear more counter thoughts, especially. Yeah, Shruti.
Good evening, everyone. I have a basic question. We have a 1-year-old baby, and we are focusing on open learning. And a common tendency is that baby, after she turns four age, she might start getting influence from the neighbors, telling that even I want to go to school. She might not be knowing about the outside world by that time. So as a parents, we are not worried about society, but we have to take care of our child future also. So we are a bit scared of, it should not happen that later our daughter should not blame us or something like that. So there are cases who have already been through this situation. So if someone can help us what we should do, it will be helpful for us.
Would anybody like to respond to Shruti's thought? Okay. So Shruti, I have actually many points on this whole thing about, will the child come back and question, why did you do this? Or why didn't you do that? But that the child can do for anything, isn't it? The child can come back and say, why did you feed me this? The child can say, why did you live in this city or in this country? Why didn't you move to whatever, whichever country? So the child can actually question any decision at any point of time. And that's absolutely fine. Let the child question. Child is born to me. So to that extent, whatever we as family decide, where we live, what professions we do, somebody was talking about working parents, non-working parents, where do I put it? All of those are just our life decisions, which will keep changing. And anything can be questioned. Anything can be regretted. Regret is a part of life. Right? It is not like every decision of mine is a perfect decision. Right? They're like on a daily basis, I regret, oh, why did I do that? Oh, why didn't I do that? Right? So I guess that's just that's a masala of life. No regret meaning you are somewhere dead. Chances are we are dead. Right? So let's not worry about, meaning let's not worry in the sense, let's not think of it this way that we will be regret free. Whatever you do, right? In fact, then FOMO will always be chasing you. If I put the child in the best institute, another one will come up and they say, oh, why didn't I put it in that one? Or if I get child this toy, oh, why didn't I buy that toy? So that is endless, right? There is no doing that. The second thing, which is very, very core to open learning, I don't know if you were right there at the beginning when I was making the small presentation, the whole open learning is based on one word, which is called co-creation. The family co-creates all the decisions. It is not about you deciding or the child deciding. Please don't think that 4-year-olds are too young to decide, not at all. Involve them in all the decisions, whether they are 4, whether they are 1, whether they are 11, or whether they are 18. How does that matter? To whatever extent they, they are part of that decision making. In fact, 1-year-olds are very strong. Try to feed them what you would like to feed them, but they will not eat it. They will not eat it. They will spit it out of their mouth, right? So if there is no co-creation in the food, it will not work. In the same way, anything else will also not work. They're pretty clear about expressing their thoughts, provided we are ready to listen, which is why co-creation becomes important. When we sit together, when we discuss whether, as I said, whether at 4 or 8 or 12 or 18, and the conversations, I think Lakshmi beautifully mentioned it. I'm not doing a good job of it. That beautiful conversations that we can have every day or weekly or whatever frequency. So in an open learning journey, you are always conversing and always changing, evolving your decisions, right? And that is why where there is very less, the child can't say at 20, oh, you didn't do this to me at 5, because you discussed it together. It was a together decision. At best, the child might say, as a family, we took a bad decision. Good. We all take decisions, and half of them are anyway bad, right? There is a third thing also, that no matter what decision we take, whichever decision you take, there is always something to learn from that decision. If we are not hung up with the right or wrongness of it, we can always pick up what we got from it and move ahead. And that's the spirit in open learning. That is why we say open learning is a life of failures, not life of success. Because the more failures I have, the more I would learn. And if I'm learning all the time, and then I'm automatically growing, then anything comes my way, I can take it along. Yeah, I can start from scratch, like the author that you talked about, Lakshmi, the Paul, that he can go to a new country and start. He's not he's in a way embracing failure when he's going to a new country and saying, I'll just start anywhere. So in a way, open learning is saying that life isn't about failure, successes. Life is just about experiences, and whatever decision I take, whatever experience happens, that is the curriculum. There is no other curriculum. The curriculum is what I did, what I experienced, that was my curriculum. And then I kind of learned from that, whatever I want to learn from that, and move ahead to the next experience and so on. So there are experiences which are soaked in learning, and that's what life is all about. If there is any other curriculum, please let me know.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But to sum up, I want to tell, so can 4-year-old decide on whether to go to school or not? Can he decide at the age of 4?
We've had other parents in Arohi where they started off with Montessori, then switched to open learning for a while, And then around 6 or 7, the child said, I want to go to school. So they went back to school. And then it is quite possible that at some point they'll say, no, I think I want to switch back to self-directed learning. So they'll switch back. I don't think that this is a binary decision of, it's not like once we pick up schooling, we have to stick with it. If we pick up open learning, we have to stick with it. If we are allowed to discover the shifting seasons of needs and be okay about it, then this fear will not have as much grip as it currently has. So it's fine if right now, as a family, you choose to pursue open learning. But then a couple of years later, because all the kids in the neighborhood are going to school and your child says, no, I want to go to school too, you have a conversation, and then you move to school, and the child uses school as a learning platform. And then maybe after a while, it will now have the experience of, hey, I did this self-direct style learning. I've also done this school learning. Now they're left with an experience of having to make a choice. And if they at the age of 6, 7, 8, whatever are making choices for their life, I think that's a huge learning. Uh, I ended up making choices for life, when I was out of engineering. And even then, it took a couple of years to say, oh, I don't want to work in a job. I want to try out some consulting by myself and then maybe start a company. And it was a lot of fear, right? To kind of make a decision when I'm 22 years old. If children are making those kind of choices, school or no school, 6, 7 years old, time to celebrate, I think.
Yeah, very true, Prashant. Beautifully put.
Yeah. Thank you, Prashant.
Right. So as I was also sharing, open learning does not mean that you cannot go to a school or you cannot go to a college, but you start thinking of a school or college as just one way to live life, knowing that there are 1,000 other ways to live life, or 1,000 other permutation combinations of what you do in life. So the openness of the open learning, the open word of the open learning is that we are open to all the possibilities in this world. And there are like zillion possibilities in this world.
Just to add, there's a friend, Kaushik, his daughter, she wanted to go to a school, but then she decided she wanted to go to a government school, right? Not the private schools that parents can clearly afford. She said, I want a government school experience. So she went to a government school for a whole year and she experienced friends from a different social strata. And she had a lot of fun, going through that experience. And then she came back to open learning for a couple of years. And now she has moved to another school, which is, a private school. So this is, open learning is really not about school versus no school. You can free flow through the learning systems available to you at every point.
Yeah, I put in chat her name. We have about more than 150 recordings of these meetups because we have been doing it for more than 3 years. So you can listen to her story if you want. You can just search in that playlist with her name, Avani, and you can. Parents' name is Kaushik and Lakshmi, so you can search for their story. They've kind of been part of these meetups a couple of times to share their interesting story. So we have 10 more minutes. People can ask questions about Aarohi, about open learning, can ask questions to Lakshmi. She's still here. So yeah, all options are available to you. And we close at 6:30. And just again reminding, so I will, if you want, I'll put out the playlist link also. I'll do that. So all the recordings of all the meetups are there. Lots of them with lots of different families.
I just wanted to add that about taking the decision. When we started, because my son was about 7 years old, we just attended a seminar of homeschooling. at the very moment when the half seminar is over, he decided, no, from tomorrow I'm not going to school. That was his decision. And now still he is not willing to go anything. Any now and then we ask him, you want to attend school or something? No, he's there. I'm happy with my life.
So if in the half of the seminar he decided, that means the idea must be brewing in his head for many years or much time. So he was ready. The moment it kind of presented to him, he knew this was it. So that's very interesting. Oh, Prashant saying, yeah, so what Prashant, I got from what Lina was sharing, the voice was little not so clear, but she was sharing how her son attended a seminar on homeschooling, and within half the seminar, he decided, I'm not going to go to school anymore. Am I right, Lina? Have I got the facts right?
Yeah. But we was not aware of anything about homeschooling and something. We were out of this box. But after attending the seminar, he told him just what are the drawbacks and what are the positive things, what are the negative parts. But he's just stuck on that. I want to do homeschooling, and he's doing that now. But now what we opt is just for doing his 10th standard. Now he's already, as an age, he's in 9th standard. But we have admitted him as a school for just giving the 10th exam. Okay, because someone has suggested why you are going for form 17 and you are filling up a form. The regular school will be, the weightage will be more. So we have enrolled him in the school, but he's not going to the school just for giving the exam. He's going.
Yeah, and maybe after today you can have a discussion why even do that much. There is no need. Both my children haven't done any of the 10th and the 12th and so on, and
that's what I was thinking, that we were thinking of college and also now I'm thinking, now why to do college and also.
Yeah. So he can, that's why we have formed this cohort. So cohort is a group where these youth get together, which is what Hari is part of. And they live together and they do different things. Each one has their own field, but they enjoy doing it because they are doing work that they love doing. Simple as that.
Yeah. I'm so pleased that I attended this. Thank you so much.
And I will also mention, not just for you, Lina, but for any parent here, sometimes it makes sense that you come and experience how this works, how this open learning works, right? So we create this opportunity at Aarohi campus. You can come and stay here for a week with your family, especially your children, and experience, like how Lakshmi was talking about, Anand and Hari came for 1 week, the experience, and then they decided. So it's not even about decision. At least you will get to see how open learning or these children, then you don't think about future because they're so amazing today that you don't bother about, you stop thinking about future when you're with them. And you will also be, you will not be coming as a parent, you will be coming as another learner. And you will start enjoying doing something which you like doing rather than worrying about them. They will be doing what they are doing. You will be doing what you are doing. So we have these weeks, which we call as stay weeks or experiencing Arohi weeks. These are every 6 weeks, and the dates and all of that information is on the website. So yeah, whatever age child you have, if you want to experience open learning, you can come and stay with us for a week. And yeah, that's one very interesting way to understand open learning. I'll put the link also for that. Just give me a moment. And I'm also adding, just taking that opportunity that two things I want to add since we are towards the end of it. One is that we are, we also, so I pasted the link of day visit and stay visit, but we also have a special on 1st November. That is more for people from Bangalore and Karnataka, because 1st November is a holiday in Karnataka. For you all to come and visit, we have a day-long family get-together at Aarohi campus. If you are already doing unschooling, homeschooling, then you can set up a little stall and share your stories with other parents. If you are new to unschooling, homeschooling, that you can connect with the existing families and understand from them. And the more families you meet, more different perspectives you get. So that's the event on 1st November. And sorry. And before 1st November, we have something called as a learning carnival. This is basically a set of workshops being conducted by children. They have prepared, or rather they are preparing for these workshops. And these are workshops which is open to any child or adult to attend. So the whole bunch of children who will be conducting these workshops, so they will be the trainers, and your any other adult or any other child can be the learner. They are on different topics, and so that's and it's their mode of learning, not just learning but also earning. So these are paid workshops, and they will earn out of doing this. So that's happening on the weekend of 28th, 29th. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. If you're interested, I'll just share the link also, so you can attend these workshops. The best part is that you'll have a one sign-up fees for the whole family, and all the members of the family can attend any number of workshops. There are a whole lot of workshops being conducted. Yeah, so I'm just sharing that. Right, we are right at towards the end. We can take one last quick question if anybody has. Meanwhile, I'm sharing the link for Learning Carnival. Just give me a minute. Right. Any last question? And while you think of the last question, let me thank Lakshmi and Anand. I know Anand was busy with work, still he took out some time. So thanks so much, Lakshmi. It's been, I have thoroughly enjoyed listening to your journey, and how openly you have shared your journey. That was the best part, the total openness. So superb. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time and attention. Hope my story helps you in understanding. For me, all my effort is to understand your child better. It helps you in appreciating and understanding your child better. If that helps by one person, I think that will make all of us happy. And do not go by society, because I went by society's norms and definitions, and it didn't work for me. So see what works for your child, what suits for you as an individual, and what suits for your child as an individual. And the biggest takeaway for me through all these years is respect the child. So respect the child and respect the wisdom the child is born with. We may not be able to see the wisdom, but it's there inside the child.
Wow, you nailed it, Lakshmi. Super. Thank you, guys. We'll end with that thought. Yeah, respect the wisdom that the child is born with. Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good weekend. And we'll keep meeting over Saturdays. Thank you. Thanks, Lakshmi. Bye.
Bye.